Let's get to Tucker Carlson.
Announcing plans to relaunch his show, this time on Twitter. Carlson made the announcement in a video posted
He's so
to
done.
Twitter.
Dude, it's so over. I'm sorry. Anyone who's ever watched a fucking Twitter video knows one thing and one thing only, and that is Twitter video is dog shit, okay? Good luck to Tucker Carlson. Yeah, you're going to do a 30-minute show on Twitter? Suck my dick, okay? No one is going to be able to watch more than a minute and a half without that shit fucking reloading, okay? Are you joking? Twitter does not have the bandwidth. Twitter, even before Elon Musk, was horrible at serving video. So that's number one. I have a lot of thoughts on this issue. I'm going to get to the rest of them in a second. But here's Tucker Carlson's dumbass monologue from his wood panel house.
You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now.
It's funny. I mean, I love saying that, like, Twitter is the place for free speech when we all know that that's not the fucking case, okay? It's not. It's not
my
the case
panel
for
is
free
back.
speech.
We also-
It is ridiculous that, like, Twitter is considered the platform for free speech when it's, like, free speech is not paying Elon Musk, okay?
Of Los Angeles Times op-ed
What the fuck is
columnist.
happening? Why does this keep fucking restarting? Holy shit. Why didn't you go to Parler? Good question. Possibly because Parler is bullshit. Can we watch the full Tucker Carlson video? Yeah, let's do that. Let's watch the full Tucker Carlson video. Is it on YouTube? Because I don't quite feel like watching it on Twitter because let's be real. You know, it's just gonna be really hard. It's gonna be hard to watch a whole video on Twitter. Not Parler. What was it? Getter? No, Getter's the one that shut down. Parler's the one that's still alive, right? Rumble. Why didn't you do it on Rumble? Oh, here it is.
Hey!
This is a 3-minute video of Tucker Carlson. We're gonna have a hard time watching this. I'm a bet.
It's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies. But most of the time, that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read the New York Times is, in fact, true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind. Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before.
Do you think this might be a conspiracy to increase Tucker's reach by putting him exclusively on Twitter? I remember when the Super Bowl, when Rupert and Elon sat next to each other. Quite the coincidence and interesting timing. No, dude, what are you, crazy? No. Rupert Murdoch does not want Tucker Carlson to leave Fox News and, like, have prominence. What are you, out of your fucking mind? No. Tucker Carlson, if I'm not mistaken, is owed $26 million. That's the number I saw. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this. And he's, like, willing to forego that in order to keep pumping out content because he knows that he will lose relevance. Fox News will starve him out. If he wants the $25 million, he's going to lose everything. Like, in this media cycle, in this day and age, dude, if you're not steadily pumping out content, you're fucking gone. You're yesterday's news. But you're probably yesterday's news if you're a conservative commentator, regardless, when you find yourself online. What do I mean by this? Well, what I mean is simple. There are big dogs in the online sphere. Daily Wire comes to mind, right? They do not have a fraction of the real politic power that Tucker Carlson has. Tucker Carlson on primetime television at Fox News was able to bring the likes of Kevin McCarthy and bully them. Politicians openly talked about on background and even anonymously and even sometimes openly how terrified they were of Tucker Carlson's influence and the power that he held. And you saw it. I mean, they would literally go on his show and be berated by him. So a lot of that was not because Tucker Carlson is a particularly effective propagandist. He is, certainly. But because that is the primetime slot. The entire purpose of Fox News is to manipulate the Republican Party to better do the bidding of their corporate masters. Okay? That's number one. And number two is, Tucker Carlson on the primetime slot commanded a gigantic audience of primary voters. Tucker Carlson on Twitter, on the other hand, is an entirely different story. The reason for Tucker Carlson's prominence is the primetime slot, as we already talked about. But now that that's gone, and he's not even on TV, and he's on Twitter instead of like YouTube with the Daily Wire or, I don't know, any other fucking platform, he's super duper cooked. You can look at like these 3-minute videos and how many views they have on Twitter and be a fucking absolute baboon about it and think like that 22 million Twitter views actually means something when it doesn't. Okay? Especially considering that Twitter video counts as a view as long as like 50% of the video is showing as it auto plays on your fucking timeline as you're scrolling past it. Yeah, that's not real, dog. Those aren't real fucking views, okay? It's entirely different than like having every goddamn retirement home and every goddamn every goddamn airport, playing his shit on TV nonstop to a captive audience. Okay? Doesn't work that way. If Bill O'Reilly fell off, if Glenn Beck fell off, if Megyn Kelly fell off, Tucker Carlson is also going to fall off. And Megyn Kelly actually went to another TV network after, and she still fell off. No. Now, it won't look like Tucker Carlson fell off. Why? Because he's on Twitter and because Elon loves him. Okay? So it won't look like he fell off because they'll juice his shit. They'll make him as unmanageably annoying as humanly possible. He won't shut the fuck up. He will keep getting like a tremendous amount of views on Twitter. And worse than that, journalists will constantly talk about it because, let's be real, myself included, we are media demons. And anyone who's in the media loves Twitter and can't shut the fuck up about what's going on Twitter. Now, there's funny moments that come from that, like the Good Doctor episodes that have been popping, Dr. Han versus Dr. Surgeon. Not a great representation of autism, in my opinion, but, what are you going to do? And then there are really annoying versions of this, like, for example, every blue check mark that is saying the dumbest shit with the utmost confidence on the platform. Okay? Tucker Carlson represents the blue checkmark brigade. He says things that they agree with. He says things almost specifically to them. That is the reason why I believe Elon will juice him. That is the reason why I also think journalists will constantly talk about him. I can't believe Tucker Carlson said this. We got to write a Daily Beast article on it. Week after week after week until it gets boring, and then inevitably journalists stop. But having said that, Tucker Carlson will no longer have a fraction of the real world political capital, political power that he once had when he had the Fox News primetime slot. That's it. He's cooked. It's Jover. That's what I think. It might not look like he's cooked, but he actually is.
Am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess. it's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy.
Okay, it looks way creepier now, right? Bro, this shit literally looks like a fucking murder room or something. I kind of like it though. It's vibey. It's a bit spooky. My food's gonna be here soon, by the way, and I'm very excited about that. All right, I'm gonna go pee real quick. Cook like a rotisserie chicken. Yeah, I do have the rotisserie chicken waiting to be bought vibes in here. You look like you're in the movie Drive.
Democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about.
Who's we,
But for now, we're just
motherfucker?
grateful to be
What is
here.
this? Are we speaking
Free
French?
speech.
Are we speaking French? We. Who's we? He keeps saying we're coming. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Who is the we? Bro, you have a Twitter show, dog. Welcome to the fucking Little Leagues, bitch. You're officially under me, okay? Suck my cock, Tucker Carlson. Guess what? I'm on Twitch, okay? I'm on Twitch. It's a platform that is literally better than Twitter. Think about that. Every dumb motherfucker that's chirping on Twitter literally would love to be in my shoes instead. All those motherfuckers that constantly are in the shit like, oh, Hasan is not doing enough activism because he didn't give me $1,000 personally, so suck my dick. Oh, please subscribe to my Substack. All those motherfuckers inevitably want to become Twitch streamers or podcasters. Tucker Carlson is literally a level below podcasters. Think about that. Think about how pathetic that is, dude. Oh my God. At least have the dignity and go to like AM radio or something, you fucking idiot. You went on Twitter? Oh, Jesus Christ, this is so good. You're literally a poster, dog. Welcome to Poster's Paradise. Now, you're in the muck. You're in the thick of it with all the rest of the mentally ill charlatans of the fucking world. Have fun. You went from primetime television, you blew it, and I don't know if it was because you were like fucked Rupert Murdoch's like wife-to-be, former fiance, or what you fucking did, but here you are in your plaid shirt, in your fucking wooden house, talking about we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna do white supremacy on Twitter. Suck my dick, dude. Good luck. Tim Pool is gonna lap you, brother. You're so fucked. Oh, it feels great. Oh, it feels so fucking good to see it, dude. God, couldn't have happened to a worse person, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Oh, chef's kiss. Dumbass. So good. Bro's in the piss dimension. What's this lighting? I'm using the Tucker Carlson filter.
Is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
All right, let's get back to Tucker Carlson.
Elsie Granderson and CNN media analyst Sarah Fisher is joining us as well. Sarah, Tucker went on to say that he's going to put his show on Twitter. What is a Twitter TV show?
That's a great question. I think we're all dying to find out. Twitter, of course, has character limits, but when you subscribe to Twitter Blue, its subscription service, you get a little bit more space. Now, you can add a video to Twitter, not a full hour-length video, though, Allison. That's going to require a lot of work on the back end. I would imagine if you were to do a show, it would be truncated, so it wouldn't be that full hour that he had at Fox. And he might want to break it up, maybe put out some segments in different tweets, etc. But as I understand Twitter right now, they're going to have to race to build that type of functionality to get a full hour-long show there. Although they do have live functionality. So if he wanted to go live and put a Twitter show up, I think that would be possible.
Okay, that's interesting. Tucker, you're also reporting, Sarah, that Tucker is accusing Fox of fraud and breach of contract. So how does he say they defrauded him?
So basically what he's saying is that Fox executives, with sources tell me are Fox's chief legal and policy officer and Rupert Murdoch himself, made these promises to Carlson, basically saying, look, if you hand over your personal communications, we'll safeguard it, we'll make sure that it doesn't get leaked. And then he's now saying, well, look, it's been leaked, it's been reported on in the media, and so you have then broken a verbal promise to me, and that, Carlson's lawyers are alleging, is a breach of his employment contract because the terms of an agreement between the employer and the person who is working for the company have changed. Now, of course, that was up to a court. That will be up to a court to decide whether or not that's actually going to be considered a breach of his contract.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah, very much. Let me bring in our panel now. Josh, didn't they have to hand it over in discovery? I mean, why is Fox responsible for that? They can't be responsible for all leaks.
Well, I mean, there's a number of accusations in this letter to Fox, including that he claims that one member of the Fox board told him that it was a condition of the settlement that they would fire him. Now,
Something
both
Dominion has denied.
Dominion and Fox have both denied that. It doesn't make sense as something for Dominion to demand because Tucker was not even really at the center of their allegations. It was more about Maria Bartiromo and Janine Pirro and various other people. And Dominion doesn't get any real financial gain from them firing Tucker Carlson. So I think first thing I would say is just because Tucker Carlson has accused Fox of doing certain things in a letter doesn't mean that he's done all of them. Now, obviously, a lot of people have been speculating about various materials that have gotten into the media since Tucker Carlson's firing, including that text message in which he is commenting on this riot and saying, well, this is not how white people fight, and that Fox's concern was that people were going to find out that Tucker Carlson was racist and that was why they fired him.
Breaking news.
The idea that Fox was behind those leaks, I do not find that idea crazy, given some of the ways that Fox has dealt with departing talent in the past. But I think this is all an effort to get out of his Fox contract, and that's been clear in the news coverage that Tucker wants to be out there in the arena. He's not allowed to go and do another show unless Fox lets him out of his contract, and so far Fox has been continuing to pay him. They can keep him under contract until after the next election.
I guess the bigger question, guys, is what does this mean for the world? What does this mean for the world? If he doesn't have his powerful platform on Fox, which is a powerful platform, and it's on Twitter, does that, suddenly reduce his power?
I mean, I think his power has been so greatly reduced. Like, to say that you even have a Twitter show, we're all asking what that means because it's not a thing. Like, I upload videos of my dog. My dog does not have a Twitter show. So I think, this is a man who has been embarrassed publicly, has lost his job publicly. This feels like a last gasp in the same way that Elon Musk owning Twitter feels like the last gasp of trying to be relevant. It's a dying social network, like no one knows who's verified. The people who are verified are now unhinged. I just don't see what he gets out of this. And his audience is largely older, doesn't know how to have two-factor verification, especially not using their phone. So I don't see this as some great comeback. I see this as just diminishing returns in every way and embarrassing.
I think that's interesting, but I would also just caution that reports of his demise and of Twitter's may be premature because, Tucker, I think, does have a grip on a large portion of America. And if you read the comments under his announcement, people are like, can't wait, the hell with Fox. Like, they're ready to go wherever he's going.
Which is why the question about power first.
Yeah, because you're an idiot and you fucking see blue checkmark people and don't realize that, like, one, Twitter views are not real. And two, you're engaging in the dumbest form of, like, sampling bias. You literally look at blue check marks and you basically hand it to Elon. You see it as valid. It's not. There's so many motherfuckers with like 30. So many motherfuckers with like 30 followers just saying the most unhinged shit under those posts. It doesn't mean anything.
We need to first define how are we defining power. Yes, he lost the power that he got from being on Fox, but what other power does he still have, and how is he going to use
White
that
power,
power?
that's what he
Because
has.
as we saw, Fox was just one aspect of his influence. He's influenced in a lot of different areas in terms of everyday life, and while he may not have the same audience size on Twitter, he may not need the same size to have a similar or greater impact. So as we discuss this, power isn't simply about Twitter followers or simply being on television.
Yeah.
Power is what's happening in those rooms where it happens.
Well, one of the things, thank you for that Hamilton quote. I like that.
I was wondering if you was paying attention.
I was. One of the ways that he had power in these rooms where it happened is that he did have the ear, and in fact, often more than the ear of some politicians like Kevin McCarthy. He got Kevin McCarthy to hand over the tapes from January 6th. He was very influential in Republican political circles. Do you think that he will still have that?
Well, I think that influence still exists. Will it wane a little bit? We'll have to see. I think, again, if you look at somebody like Ron DeSantis, he was easily able to get.
How many times has Kevin McCarthy individually in person appeared on the Daily Wire? How many times has Kevin McCarthy appeared on Bill O'Reilly's show? It exists. It's out there. It's like number 700 on the news podcasting world. How many times has any prominent Republican politician appeared on the Blaze Network? The only one that does it is Ted Cruz. Sometimes Dan Crenshaw. Don't be ridiculous.
Get a message out, whatever that message of the week was that they put on the placard at the front of those podiums. So yes, that's going to change a little bit. I think also don't necessarily dismiss Twitter right away. Certainly, he's probably going to deal with the fact that, to your point, a large portion of that 3.6 million that we're tuning in don't have the two-factor authentication, don't actually know where they can even download Twitter from, right? But there also is a potential for new audiences, right? I make the comparison to somebody who says they are a member or supporter of Planned Parenthood versus somebody who says they're a member or supporter of the NRA, even though they haven't necessarily given any money in 10 or 20 years, right? It's that type of synthetic organization of people who support someone, and many of them had been getting his information in the digital landscape anyway, whether it was via Facebook, whether it was via Twitter. So I just think that there is the opportunity, even if you're not necessarily watching him live during a Twitter live, for those clips to be recorded, to be dispersed through YouTube, through a vast multitude of an increasingly fractured but also growing digital space.
And Sarah, and then there was this other plot twist on all of this, and that was what Elon Musk had to say about it. He said, I also want to be clear, this was after Tucker's statement, that we have not signed a deal of any kind whatsoever. Tucker is subject to the same rules and rewards of all content creators. Rewards means subscriptions and advertising revenue share, coming soon, which is a function of how many people subscribe and the advertising views associated with the content. I hope that many others, particularly from the left, also choose to be content creators on this platform. That is a strange announcement, or announcing that you've just landed your biggest star.
Right? You would expect him to be welcoming Tucker with open arms, and instead he's saying, wait a minute, you're
The reason why he can't say that is because he was sitting next to Rupert Murdoch at the Super Bowl. For the chatter who was saying, oh, I wonder if they were plotting this together, fuck no. You're out of your fucking mind if you think that Rupert Murdoch would let that happen.
subject to the same rules as everyone else. And we're going to fact check you using community notes just like everybody else. Look, Elon Musk has a tough job on his hands. He's got to bring advertisers back. He's got to make sure users stay on the platform. And he knows that by bringing on a polarizing figure like Tucker Carlson, even if he's really popular on the right, that could jeopardize his ability to continue to grow the business. So that's why I think you see him respond in a tempered manner, saying, look, it's great that you're here, but we're not going to give you special treatment just because you're doing this show with us. The last thing I'd say, Allison, is Tucker, I think, is going to explore other options. I don't expect the Twitter thing to be the only thing he does. I mean, Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy has said that we'd still welcome a show with Carlson. And so I think maybe he'll try out the Twitter thing. I think he likes the zeitgeist and the, opinion leader focus of that audience. But he'll probably do other stuff, too.
Sarah, thank you very much for your reporting. Great to have you.
Like I mentioned already, the annoying part of this is that Elon Musk will do everything to highlight Tucker Carlson, but it'll just be annoying. It'll be a nuisance, and it'll be fucking annoying, and that's it. It won't be anything but just a nuisance and annoying, and the daily beasts of the world will cover it extensively because they see it in front of their eyes and they get mad. But his impact is so dulled